Good afternoon. Welcome to the Summer 2024 Bachelor's and Associate in Science Nurse Pinning Ceremony. Please take a moment to silence all electronic devices. We do have a professional photographer with us today that will capture a picture of each student as they're pinned, and please refrain from stepping in the aisle. I'm Dr. Corey Lofton, the Director of Nursing, and I welcome you to the Summer Nursing Pinning Ceremony. Please remain seated for the processional. First, I would like to congratulate the students for their success, dedication, and job well done. You all deserve a round of applause. Will the nurse faculty and support staff with Pensacola State College please rise? You all deserve a round of applause also. I would like to thank Hartman Photography for volunteering to photograph the celebration and First Pentecostal Church for generously hosting the event on their beautiful campus. At this time, it's my honor to introduce the president of Pensacola State College, Dr. Edward Meadows.
Thank you, Nurse Corey. I think we need to give our department chair a round of applause. He just completed his doctorate not too long ago. Congratulations. Now, this is one of my favorite times of the year. Pinning, patching, and graduation ceremonies are indications of a lot of student success, a lot of hard work, and a lot of support that is required for us to be able to celebrate a day like today. And as I've always done in the past, I will do it again today. We're going to practice standing. So would you all rise, students? Now would you turn around, find your loved ones, and thank them with applause for the support they gave you. Okay, while you're still looking at them, how about a real round of applause for these graduates? A real. All right, graduates, you may be seated. You know, we're in the middle of, we have two commencement ceremonies a year. And unfortunately, we don't have another commencement service until December. So upon personal privilege by the authority invested in me by the Board of Trustees in the state of Florida, I now confer upon you the degree of which you are entitled. And that's about as formal as we'll get, unless you find the time between family and job to come back to a future commencement ceremony, and I hope you can. It's a very special kind of significance when you get to walk across the stage again with the support that you have, where they see you actually in the cap and gown and getting that diploma. So I hope some of you can make it back, but I know that many of you will, as you are now, you're busy with a lot of things external to the college. And all those external things, they get in the way sometimes of some students. But y'all have all persevered with the help back here of your family members and friends. If there are spouses and children, would you stand so we can see you? Spouses and children. Thank you for your support. I forgot to say fiancé, but what about parents and grandparents? Could we see you? Would you stand? All right, and if you're related otherwise and or a friend, would you stand, please? All right. I bet you there was a grandmother or grandfather in that group when they stood. You know, some of you are coming from generations of healthcare providers, and others are coming for the first time to college. But I want to commend all of you for the hard work that you have done to be where you are today. And there's another gentleman here. He is the chair of our Board of Trustees, Dr. Troy Tippett, a retired neurosurgeon. And he would like to extend congratulations to you as well.
Well, good afternoon and congratulations to all of you graduates. You know, as a practicing neurosurgeon in this community for several years, I usually relate I've had such a close relationship with graduates from Pensacola State College over the years and how much they've benefited me. And I did, in fact, mention that last May. And I was walking out of the parking lot afterwards and I heard this sound say, "Hey, Doc." I turned around and it was Drina. Drina was one of the best nurses I've ever known and is. She still works in the recovery room at Baptist Hospital. And I don't know if you know how compulsive neurosurgeons are about their post-operative patients, but they don't just like to leave things for chance. And frequently it would be Drina and I in the recovery room in the middle of the night with some emergency patient. And I never, ever had any fear, once the patient was stable, of going home and knowing that she would call me if she needed me and take care of things if she didn't. And that's what you will all have soon with experience. She had the same background that you have all had, and she is a great nurse, just as many. And she, by the way, was here. Her daughter graduated in the class before you, so it's a long family tradition. Well, once again, congratulations on behalf of the Board of Trustees to you and your families.
Well, we have a number of staff that are here today, and I would like to introduce Dr. Dusty Sluter and have her stand and be recognized as the Dean of our Warrenton campus of Health Science and Nursing. And we also have Mary Mavis, the Coordinator of Marketing and Communications. Mary's got the camera. Where's Mary? Right there. Thank you for being here. And if I miss anybody, I apologize. This is a pretty large crowd. This will be a first for me to do this with nursing pinning, and instead of standing, I'm just going to have you raise both hands. If you have ever attended Pensacola State College and you're in the audience, or if you plan to attend, if you're getting ready to enroll this fall, let's see both hands up in the air. Let's see what that looks like. That's amazing. That's amazing. I would say that that's about 35% of the audience. So all of you know all too well the value of Pensacola State to our community and to you individually. And the one last thing that I'll say to all of you that are graduating and being pinned today is that education, as you're going to find out, and you probably already know, is lifelong. And you can't be the best nurse you can be unless you stay engaged with lifelong learning. And there are further opportunities. I know we have a number of baccalaureate degree students that have completed, and one that's here today. But there are even careers past the ADN, the LPN, and the BSN. And so as you go through your career and you find your special niche in the healthcare world, whether that's for a doctor in private practice or in a hospital or a clinic, I do want you to know that we will expect to see you back for continuing education and advanced degrees. And I wish you all the best as you go out into the world of work, because you have a very special honor, but special responsibility as a nurse. And I've seen my share of nurses in hospitals and in clinics, and I always ask, where'd you graduate? And I, like Dr. Tippett, often celebrate privately when they say, well, I went to Pensacola State College. But the main thing is that remember where you came from. You came from Pensacola State. Be proud of it. And there's a reputation in our region for the graduates. And I happen to sit on a hospital board, and I get to accept the praise all the time when members of the board of that hospital commend the graduates and the faculty and the staff that have produced the graduates for Pensacola State College. So be proud, and good luck to you.
Thank you, Dr. Meadows and Dr. Tippett. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our guest speaker, Dr. Stephanie Jones. Dr. Stephanie Jones stands as a beacon of inspiration in the nursing community, exemplifying a deep commitment to excellence and compassionate care. As the Chief Nursing Officer at Santa Rosa Medical Center in Milton, Florida, she oversees the services for 119 licensed adult inpatient beds. Her visionary leadership has gained the hospital numerous prestigious certifications and accreditations, including the Joint Commission's Maternal Level 1 of Care accreditation and the Joint Commission's Gold Seal of Approval for Primary Stroke Center accreditation. Dr. Jones' career is a testament to dedication and innovation. Beginning as a licensed practical nurse, she's always been driven by a profound desire to help others. Her journey is a shining example of how one can grow and excel in the nursing field, finding fulfillment in diverse opportunities. She's played a crucial role in implementing new residency programs for both LPN and RNs, fostering an environment where nurses can thrive and achieve the highest levels of their licensure. Dr. Jones' story serves as a powerful reminder, especially for new nurses, that the nursing field is rich with opportunities to grow, innovate, and make a difference. Whether through direct patient care, leadership roles, or facilitating specialized accreditations, there are countless paths to your passion in helping people get well. As Dr. Jones often says, embrace your journey and explore diverse experiences. Let your passion and dedication to patient care elevate your nursing career. Always prioritize self-care and nurture both patients and colleagues as you fulfill your calling in helping others heal. Her dedication to improving healthcare outcomes and her support for nursing education and professional development are truly inspiring, demonstrating that with commitment and passion, one can achieve greatness in the field of nursing to help heal others. Please help me in welcoming Dr. Stephanie Jones.
Well, thank you all for letting me be here this afternoon. I'll back off of that a little. I'm loud without it. But this is a momentous occasion as I look into the audience and I see the families, the loved ones, the friends, the faculty, the board, and then I see your faces. I'm so inspired and excited for a career and a profession that I love so much. Thank you for the welcome. Thank you for the introduction, and I'll get into my speaking notes because I think about penning and entry into the career is both the end and the beginning for you guys. And one of the most exciting things is that we're privileged to be part of the nursing profession. And we all know Florence Nightingale, and some of her statements still resonate with me today. And the one that I want to share with you is that I will do all in my power to elevate the profession, the standards of my profession, and to commit to those in my care. And I think about how nurses and healthcare are committed to others. We're humans caring for other humans. I'm confident that you're going to take that with you, and I think about how you can always trace that back to the tenets of Florence Nightingale. I began my nursing career in 1989. I was a bank teller the summer before my senior year, and I was recruited off of the drive-through line by a kindly group of physicians to work in their front office. And I was making appointments and taking payments, but I was so curious about what was happening in the back with the patients. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about benefactors and mentors in your path as I tell my story. But I had a physician, Dr. Thomas Self, who said, hey, I can teach you how to set up a patient, do a blood pressure, give an injection, and you can fill in the back when we're not busy. So I became an office nurse before I began my official nursing journey. I think about loving the profession that we're in, and there's another quote that comes to mind from Neil Armstrong, and he says, pilots have no love of walking around. Pilots like to fly. And I think that if you have a love for nursing, it's in you, and you love to nurse, no matter what level that you're at. So I had it. I'm proud of you all for also having it. And I think about the families, the friends, the professors, and really your long hours of studying and dedication that have gotten you to where you are. I made a couple of notes. First of all, it is a dedication from the beginning to the end, and as a lifelong learner, you're going to find many opportunities to have people that are going to support you along the way. Some of my tips were don't be afraid to eat a ramen noodle or to run on gas fumes. I always am near empty. And also my husband of 30 years learned to do laundry somewhere along the way, and I'm thankful that I had clean underwear because he was able to do the mountains of laundry when I got to the bottom of my drawer. And so for many of you in the audience, you know what I'm talking about, and you need those people that care for you. And I'm going to talk a little bit about my benefactors and mentors along the way. I think about one of the things they did for me was share their secrets. And as you have precepted and as you guys have had your rotations, you've met nurses that are going to say, let me show you this, or it's the secret to a great IV, or it's the secret to measuring an ICP and an ICU, unclogging a line, if you will. And whatever those things are, people share freely of themselves in our profession. And I've always felt like that has helped me become a better nurse. So the first thing that I wanted to tell you is that when you're the recipient of that kind of advice, don't be afraid to reach behind you and give that advice back to the next nurse. It's so much more powerful if you're able to share the things that are shared with you and that you learn that help you take good care of the patients. I think about, I had a great colleague who told me how to get a student loan, and I will have it paid off in June of next year to the great University of Tennessee for my doctorate degree. But I will tell you that there are things that as nurses we help each other out with. So I want to encourage you to be a benefactor to others. You may have heard the saying that a rising tide floats all boats. And I think John F. Kennedy actually is credited with saying that. And what it really means for nurses is that it doesn't matter who's going to get the credit. If we can raise the tides, everybody's going to come up with us. And I love that. And I think about a wise person giving advice, a mentor, seeing the way that they walk or the way that they take care of a patient situation. Their path is visible, and when you see it, you know it. And then I think about how we attach to those mentors and build those relationships. It takes us being a little bit vulnerable, and as a new grad, I just encourage you to say, hey, I don't know, but I want to know, and help me to understand what it is that you do when I see you do this, or show me what it is that made that go so well, because there's all kinds of things you'll learn from mentoring with others. The other piece is being a benefactor, and a benefactor of someone is giving them opportunities, putting good things in their way, giving them an opportunity maybe to experience something, exposing them to a new diagnosis or something when you have no reason to. You may be busy with your own assignment. You may be busy with your own slate of patients or your own agenda. But if you are a benefactor to another nurse's career, it's going to carry you so far. So I'm going to get to my story. I am from Northwest Georgia, if you couldn't tell from the accent. There's a nurse at the hospital that teases me, calling me Paula Dean, and I'm like, well, that's not the first time I've heard that, and I think she's okay. I like to bake. But I was the first college graduate in my family. My dad was Navy, and then he was a truck driver. So you don't know what you get under the Paula Dean exterior, the way that I was raised. But my mom stayed home with us children and just had a fabulous childhood and upbringing. Went to a local high school, didn't really know the college prep route. Went to work at a bank, like I said, and was very fortunate to have been recruited off of that drive-through line by Dr. Tom Self and Joe Bishop. The hospitals used to keep nursing programs, and in the 80s, they started moving them to the technical schools and the colleges, and that's really fortunate because it was an opportunity to incorporate more students into those programs. I became an LPN and had a great mentor and benefactor named Betty Kaufman, who said, you should think about the RN bridge, and connected me with the dean. And before I even was finished with my LPN program, was taking my courses to bridge to my RN. And then after my RN program, had another great mentor who said, she was actually my bridge instructor, Dr. Barbara Reese. She said, hey, I would love to connect you to this BSN program. It's going to be 2 nights a week from the University of West Georgia. You can enroll before you take your boards. And in the old days, as my 21-year-old daughter says, we went to Macon, Georgia. We took a paper pencil test across 2 days to get our RN boards. And fortunately, I passed, got my BSN, and then thought, well, I've, done. But then I had another mentor say, have you thought about a master's degree? I had worked med-surg. I had worked in a nursing home, in a doctor's office, and loved the hospital setting. I even did home health before GPS and mobile phones, when you stopped at a gas station and called people on a payphone for directions. And I thought, I don't know that I need a master's degree, but I'm going to check it out anyway. So I was able to, with again this mentor, his name was Ed Moyer, investigate a master's degree at the University of West Georgia, and I was in their inaugural graduating class in 2003. And I have to tell you, I stuck with med-surg. I did lung bone fracture pain and the role of race, gender, and ethnicity in the number of doses of pain medicine given to females. And it has served me so well because it was what I did every day as a med-surg nurse. And I was able to apply it and understand how prevalent we have issues in healthcare, and also how research and learning can really help us be better at what we do. This time I was able to continue to grow in nursing. I was a nurse manager, I've been a house supervisor and an ACNO. And I was taking care of my dad. He had a melanoma, and we would go to Emory for his radiation. And he asked me one day, I have 2 brothers, he said, "Sis, what are you gonna do after I'm gone?" And I'm like, well, I don't know. I'd love to go back to school, but had my only child at 35 in my master's program. And I said, I gotta get Brooke into school and figure out what's gonna happen. He said, don't wait, go now. So I applied and got waitlisted at Kennesaw University, but the dean, Dr. Tommy Naylor, I still remember her name, called me and said, hey, I know you're waitlisted till next year. Nobody likes to wait a year, but the University of Tennessee and the University of Alabama are admitting students this fall into a winter cohort. And I went online and I looked, and that night I saw an old former colleague from my master's days that had graduated with me, and she had finished her research and was presenting it at Erlanger up in Chattanooga. And so I opened my flip phone, called her up, and I'm like, hey, Jan, I see you on the website. And she said, Stephanie, by the time you get a student loan and get entered into the program, you'll be a quarter of the way done. You can do it. And I thought, wow, here's another person giving me encouragement. No reason. She didn't know me anything. She told me how to get the student loan. She told me how to retake the GRE because mine was 10 years old. Well, actually, it was 11 years old at this time. And she was, again, a mentor and a benefactor to me to get that doctorate degree. So I tell you all this to say, you can do it across many decades. You can do it the easy way, the hard way, the student loan way, the first college graduate way, but just set a path and make those plans. But along the way, look for people that are mentors to you, that are gonna be honest and tell you how to do things, not just start IVs, but how to get student loans or how to get admitted. Make sure that you don't forget to reach behind you and help somebody else once you learn that knowledge, and tell them. I think about, for me, and I'm about to close, one of the greatest things I've learned in my decade and a half of being a chief nurse and in nursing leadership is that I have to tell my story so that other people understand. None of us arrive with everything that we're gonna be and ultimately everything that we're gonna do in our career. Nursing can span decades. And I love that you can change and move and grow within companies and go back and pursue, advanced education. You've got such a wonderful foundation in your Pensacola State degree. Don't let that be the end. Look to what is the next plan for me. One of the things I think about is my favorite author ever is Dr. Tim Porter O'Grady. And I know there are probably people in the room that have read him, and he does quantum theory. I love him. You should read him. And he's so smart. I've heard him speak a couple of times and at nursing conferences, but he said, as nurses, the best thing that we can do today is to anticipate, predict, and adapt. And I think about, gosh, that is really good advice. And it's probably good advice for our home lives too. But for nurses, we are caring for large groups. If you go into management, you'll care for large groups. If you're on a patient floor, you'll care for large groups. You'll care for each other even after you graduate. You've been in a large group and you've probably cared for each other. One of the things he says is that the adaptive capacity of nursing is how we imagine our future. So I challenge you to do this. Be adaptive, stay connected. Stay connected to nursing science, nursing research, figure out the why behind things. Look for people that are going to mentor and be a benefactor to your career. And when you run into people that are not, turn the other way and get away from there. I don't know how else to say that, because you're going to see everything. I encourage you to not forget to imagine yourself into the role that you want to have when you ultimately get there. I'm still imagining what that role would be for me. I'm 50 now, and I'm like, oh gosh, I don't know. But I love nursing, I know that. And I also know that for you guys, the future's so inspiring to see your faces and to understand all that you've accomplished and what it represents today. So for that, be a mentor, be a benefactor, help one another. Now go imagine your future. I appreciate your time, and thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jones. Nurse faculty, please come forward for the presentation and pinning of the nursing students. Nursing students, please rise and approach the stage.
PSN. Antoinette Marie Jones. Madison Brooks. Meseret Baldwin. Kaylin Bratkovic. Ebony Corin Goldsmith. Bailey Johnson. Mikasha Harrison. Mikasha Harrison. Del Chavez. Brianna Kretzer. Mandy Pereira Campos Reyes. Madison Camp. Lauren Higdon. Jacqueline Williams. Brittany Harris. Shantavia Hunt. Donovan York. Nicole Haynes. Megan Crane. Whitney Brown. Brianna Zacharias. Watisse Shoemaker. Alaken Moxley. Sophie Schad. Cynthia Izzo. Haley Langston. Trinity Hicks. Sarah Carroll. Elena Bonadio. Jennifer Johnson. Tori Marsh Burgosh. Gracelyn Fletcher. Leanne Weiss. Samantha Pappas. Jackson Moore. Cheney Adams. Nick Skews. Malia Miller. Ryan Britt. Derek Olford. Haley Otten. Mackenzie Ellis. Olivia Rubino. Mexiana Levy. Shania Gardner. Jacob Wynn. Juan Tran. Timber Quick. Amber Anthony. Patricia Verdon. Hannah Gibson. Jacqueline Sisson. Erica Alvarez. Kayla Woodall. Brandy Hernandez. Mackenzie Jackson. Alexis Lazaretto. Hewson.
Lizandra Gonzalez.
Emily Perry.
Emma Etzel.
Germany Thomas.
Haley Thompson.
Allison Speaks.
John Michael Brown.
Lacey Yonker. Angela Walton. Natalie Kegler. Kathy Aline.
Nursing students, please rise, face the audience, and light your lamp. If there are nurses in the audience who wish to join the students in reciting of the Florence Nightingale Pledge, please rise. Students, join me in reciting the Florence Nightingale Pledge. With full knowledge of all the responsibilities I am undertaking, I pledge to care for my patients with all of the knowledge, skills, and understanding that I possess without regard to race, color, creed, politics, or social status. I will spare no effort to conserve meaningful life, to alleviate suffering, and to promote health. I will refrain from any action which might be harmful to the quality of life or health of those I care for. I will respect at all times the dignity and religious beliefs of patients under my care and hold in professional confidence all the personal information entrusted to me. I will endeavor to keep my professional knowledge and skills at the highest level and give my support and cooperation to all members of the healthcare team. With full awareness of my qualifications and limitations, I will do my utmost to maximize the potential of the nursing profession and to uphold and advance its standards. Nursing students, please be seated.
Please join me in congratulating the students for their success and their accomplishments. On behalf of Pensacola State College, Thank you for joining us on this special occasion. This concludes the ceremony, and guests remain seated while we begin the recessional. Thank you.